Welcome everybody to a new Boca in English episode. Here, my name is Facundo Zalazar. I missed you guys last week. I
Welcome back.
apologize. Welcome back. Yeah, thank you. I was outside of the country. I went to Argentina for a few days to enjoy Mendoza with my friends from high school. Three quick days. Was a lot of fun. Rodri, how are you? How was your week? How's the last podcast?
It was
Welcome.
it's good, man. Things are good. We had Damian Silverstein. He was really kind to join us, and we talked mainly about Miguel Angel Russo and what it means to have him back. So it was a fun conversation. If you guys missed it, you can catch it on the YouTube channel, on Spotify, on Apple, and all the channels. But yeah, man, just glad to have you back. The team is getting back together right on time for the Club World Cup.
Yeah, awesome. So, first topic of the day. Today, Adidas released very nice uniforms, very
Beautiful.
nice sporting, clothing, jackets, everything. If I didn't go to Argentina, I would spend all my money on that. But right now, I got no more money. I've spent all my money on the wine. But what do you think of the new uniforms?
Oh man, they're beautiful. I like how the clothing companies, they kind of like shift the tones of blue, and then like I find like the timing is always right. They get us with like a couple of the lighter blues, and they're like, oh man, these look beautiful. And then after a while, like, hey, we should probably go back to the darker. And when they do, bam, it's great. It's beautiful again. So that's what they're doing with this. It's also the 120th anniversary of Boca, so that's the 120th anniversary edition with the new logo, the new with the white underneath and on top, and I just find it beautiful. And especially I like to collect more of the backup alternate jerseys, and that golden one is amazing. I
Amazing.
100% I'm gonna buy that one. So I'm a big fan, and I don't really buy much of the kind of like the streetwear or like the training wear, but like some of the stuff that I saw there was really pretty too.
Yeah, I usually I'm a big sucker for our second kid, but our second kid I'm more of a fan when it's yellow and blue than when it's white,
Yep.
blue and yellow.
Yeah.
I do have the whites as well because I usually try to buy everything that I can, but the yellows I have a weak spot for the yellow kids, and I absolutely love them. And this one, the black ones, the darker ones,
Yeah.
usually. I'm a big fan, but I'm more a little lighter,
The
right?
lighter ones. Yeah.
I'm a little, yeah, I'm a sucker for the 2000, 2003. This is the
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah.
This has Donnet on the back, one of my favorite
Yeah.
jerseys.
Well,
I
like
do
this
have
one.
the
This one is one of like the lighter ones.
correct.
And
Yes.
yeah, it's really beautiful.
When that one came out, I went nuts because I think that was a clear Boca jersey. But
Yeah.
it's funny because it's a mix, I think, between the fans because a lot of fans think that Boca should be darker.
Yeah.
But then when I think about the 2000, 2003, we went after everything. So in my mind,
Yeah.
that is, the Boca colors. But yeah, 120th. Wow. It's been
Yeah.
20
Pricey.
years. Yeah, so it's been 20 years since I became a member. And I remember that I became a member, I think it was on March 5th. And then on April 5th, we had the 100th anniversary. And I went to stadium that they had the big party. The Maradona was there. I remember the Maradona, I think he came on a helicopter, something crazy like that. I don't remember. Yeah, typical deal. I
Yeah.
can't believe it's been 20 years, dude. That's a long time.
It is. Yeah. I
Uh,
remember. It was also a pretty good. Time for Boca. 2005 was a very good year with back with Basile and those. I remember the jersey with like the X. That was those were good times. And yeah, just in a blink of an eye,
that
it's 20 years
That
later, man.
jersey reminds me of two players, just two players.
Insua.
Franco Vilos
Okay.
and Sua.
Yeah.
Both of them. I,
Yeah.
I see that jersey and maybe a little bit of Gago. But Insua and Vilos, for me, they're the definition of that jersey.
Those teams were awesome, man. Like especially because
Yeah.
like it was like it was kind of like right before, Riquelme came back, and then that kind of kickstarted like, or like kind of we returned to like the Riquelme and Palermo era, but like that one was kind of like a little in between, and it was like, and just guys like like Grupo Biesa, and guys like that like we didn't maybe spend that long, that much time in Boca, but like they were really good. Catadillas, like just like those guys that gave us a lot of happiness and memories for our whole lives. So yeah, those were good
That
times.
was a good year. 2005 after the fiasco of 2004.
Yeah.
That was a very, very good year. But yeah, here we are 20 years later. Um, we got another World Cup coming the way.
Yeah, another
So
international tournament.
an international tournament. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So let's talk about the players first, right?
Yeah.
So first topic we should chat about is the Cavani health.
Yeah, he's apparently he's the reports are that he basically like kind of re-injured or like compensating suffered like another injury when he came on in the second half against Independiente. Remember he had a muscle tear, barely made it back to that game where he didn't even start. He came off the bench and then like apparently he got injured again. So he's been kind of like rehabbing, and it's not a sure thing that he's gonna be ready to start on Monday against Benfica. The hope is that he will play, during the tournament. But Miguel Angel Russo, when they asked him, he said that basically the priority is to get him like 120%. They're not gonna rush him back this time. They're not gonna risk him. Obviously, they're important games, but like we have a lot to like buy for this year. So like they're just gonna take it slow with him. He's obviously up there in age. So it's better to just get him fully healthy than to like risk him just to like so for him to get broken down again.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit a freak when it comes to attentive to details, and I noticed in the video that the Instagram of Boca posted a video of yesterday training. In the video, you see all the players practicing on the pitch, and then in a little shoot, there was Cavani just on the gym, just him in
Yeah.
the gym. So that when I saw that, I was like, that's not a good sign that everybody's
He's
running
probably not
outside.
close to playing. Yeah.
Yes. So if I had to guess based on that video, we're like 4 or 5 days away in a big game because, like it or not, the first game is the biggest game of the tournament for us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that he should not play. Obviously,
Yeah.
again, we don't know. We're not there every day with them. Russo is, so we'll see. Hopefully, he is there for a little bit. Hopefully, he can provide with some experience. But if I had to guess, if I had to bet my money, I don't think he will be starting.
Yeah, no, I don't even think he'll play at all. I mean, maybe he'll be on the bench just because, like, maybe they let you like bring. Just to remind people, we were allowed to bring a 35-man roster. I think Boca ended up bringing 34. They left one spot empty. Some context with that is that the reserves were like a lot of like kind of like the higher rated youngsters. They start their playoffs tomorrow, Thursday. So a lot of those players, like maybe like I don't know, like Lionel Flores, like Valentino Simoni, guys like that maybe could have been part of the team. They chose to like kind of leave them back in Buenos Aires because just anytime you have a 30-man roster, those kids are probably not going to play anyway. So just like why kind of like get him away from competition. So he's Russo has plenty of players. Christian Lema was like the only guy that they left in Buenos Aires, which is kind of funny because like how bad do you have to be like the only guy they left behind? Like it's unbelievable. Like they brought Fauda and Hansen, like all the guys that we kind of hate and talk about every show. They brought them all except for Lema. Like Lema is like get the fuck out and stay in Buenos Aires. Stay in the cold of Buenos Aires. We're gonna go to the warmth of Miami.
Could it be just since you said that? I don't know. I'm asking because I have no clue. Could it be that they left that spot open for Costa?
No, they actually they have Ayrton Costa. He is part of the list. So the thing what happens with Costa is that he had an issue with his U.S. visa to be able to get into the country and obviously work in the country play in the tournament. So the reports are that Ayrton Costa had his appointment at the U.S. Embassy in Buenos Aires today in the consulate. And they were going to determine whether he is going to get the visa and be able to fly in the next couple of days. Obviously, he, even if in the best of scenarios, he's not going to probably play on Monday. But it would be a very, very important to get him, because he's been very important for the team. So like we'll find out. Apparently, he has some legal issues in his past that just kind of prevented him from getting the visa in before. But they did some kind of negotiations, some back channeling with the U.S. Consulate, and apparently there's a decent chance. But we'll find out definitely before the weekend whether he gets approved, and then if he does, then he'll just be able to like just get on the first flight and get to Miami and join the team.
Fantastic, right? So pretty much first three topics, you are more involved in this than I am. So Boca had two new, maybe three new players.
Yeah.
So do you want to get into that? So the first one will be Boca signed Pellegrino.
Yeah.
So if you want to get to that, it's all yours.
Yeah, no, first of all, I want to say that like I had very little faith that Boca would sign any players for the Club World Cup. Remember, it was like a special 10-day window to sign players for the World Cup. And the way Boca has been slow to sign players in the past, I was like, that's not long enough. And lo and behold, they actually signed two players, which was like, okay, very good, very impressive. Not only that, apparently they are two players that Miguel Angel Russo wanted to bring along, or at least he kind of like gave his blessing. So one of them, Marco Pellegrino, he's a center back. He's a lefty. So if you kind of start adding up, Ayrton Costa plus Marco Pellegrino probably equals, we're close to like the end of Marcos Rojo's run in Boca. His contract ends at the end of the year. So at the latest, December 31st, Marcos Rojo is not going to be in Boca anymore. But when he leaves, we'll have a 25-year-old lefty center back in Costa, and we're going to have he's turning 23 in July, Marco Pellegrino. He was from the Platense Academy. He was sold to AC Milan. Then he had a quick loan in Independiente. He had some trouble there, and he got re-loaned to Huracan, and he had a great semester, like a very good semester, where they reached the final and lost to his old club Platense. The only thing with Marco Pellegrino is that he got injured before the final, and he basically just kind of like toughed it out and played through. That's why he didn't have a great final, to be honest with you. But apparently he's like almost recovered from the injury. And again, we don't quite need him for the World Cup. We kind of need him going forward. So it's totally fine. And I gotta say, I like the signing. I think that's kind of like the type of signing that I've been saying that we should go after. It was $3.5 million. Like for Boca, it's a decent chunk of change, but it doesn't break the bank. And it's definitely one of these players that if he plays a couple good years, you sell him for twice as much. So like,
100%. It's a player that could fit into Boca. I understand the fact that he got injured. I mean, some people know he took a cortisone shot before the game so he could play. And I know it's hard. I took some of those when I was in college, and it's very painful. I mean, you can easily play a game, but the aftermath is complicated. It takes you a little more to recover.
Yeah, it makes it worse.
Injury. Yeah, correct. So it makes it worse because it kind of numbs the problem. So I understand the fact that he's not going to be able to play in the World Cup, which again, nowadays for Boca or any Argentinian team to sign a player and expect him to be good or starter right away, it's kind of hard. So we knew that he could be in the roster, but what are the chances of him starting? Probably not. But I think it's a good sign for the future. Like you said, if we want to slowly get rid of Rojo, I don't know what Rojo's going to do. His brother has been hinting that he wants to go back to Estudiantes. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if he wants to leave Boca. I doubt it because Boca plays very well.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is time to bring the average of the team age a little bit down, right?
Yeah.
So we have very high salaries, very high age players. It's time to get rid of that. All right.
Yeah.
Next one.
Malcolm Braida.
Braida, whatever you want to call it.
Malcolm Braida. He is interesting because he plays on the left, but he's right-footed. But kind of like Clemente Rodriguez back in the day. Remember, like but obviously with Clemente you couldn't tell because he was just awesome with everything. Yeah. So he plays. He's kind of played every position along kind of like the left wing. He used to be a left back. And with Miguel Angel Russo in San Lorenzo, he was playing more as a kind of like a left winger in a 4-2-3-1. So he'll play out wide, you know. And I'm sure he can kind of play that same position in a 4-3-3. I don't think he's like a natural like forward like wing. I think he's more of a kind of like a midfielder that can play out wide. But he provides insurance, you know, in the left back position, especially if you know, for when Fabra, you know, eventually leaves, which was probably at the end of the year. Marcelo Sarachi, there's some rumors that he could be on the way out as well after the Club World Cup. So, you know, he could be kind of like a backup there, just like Costa. And then, you know, we kind of need a player that can play wide there. You know, we have Zenon right now. We had Ramirez for the longest time, and he just didn't work out. I think they tried to sign Martegani to do that, but he's not it. Like not only he kind of sucks as a player, he's just not a winger. You know, so we kind of needed someone. I also like the idea of just kind of bringing someone behind Zenon to just kind of like light a fire under him. You know, so he's not that comfortable. Because like Zenon can just kind of settle too much, and so I think, you know, he's 28 years old. We paid 1.8 million from San Lorenzo, and you know he's kind of like in his prime. You know, he's not going to be a star. You know, he'll probably never play in Europe. You know, we just need him to be steady. He's really good on set pieces, and that's very important for Boca. We haven't had a good like free kick like kicker in a long time. I would say since like Cardona maybe. You know, so yeah, that's I think that's very important. And you know, wasn't too expensive. Miguel Angel Russo knows him and like swears by him. So yeah, good
I
signing,
like
and
that. I
he's
like the
already
fact
in
that,
Boca.
yeah, I like the fact that Miguel is, he knows enough for the Argentinian football. Is somebody that even though people could actually make fun of how old he is, but you know, I see the pictures of him and he looks like he's very old. But then I saw him talking to the press today and yesterday, and he seems very lucid. He knows what
Yeah,
he's doing. He knows what he was talking about, and the fact that he knows the Argentinian football and he's bringing those players is great. And I feel like Russo is a coach that he was probably watching Boca every day, so
yeah.
he knows what Boca's missing, and he was probably sitting in his house being like, "Oh damn! If I was a coach, I would do this, I would do that,
I
I
would
would
bring
bring
this
this
guy.
player,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll bring that player." So I don't know. I feel like Russo. I'm happy that Miguel is with us, and the fact that he's bringing some players that could fit for the future, you know, is great. You know, so props to him. Last one but not least, it's a big rumor that Boca's gonna bring Paredes back.
Yeah.
So Paredes played yesterday for the national team. He will not be in the World Cup because he's going to take vacation with his family. Overdue. He's been, you know, playing non-stop for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Boca has to pay Roma $3.5 million.
Yes.
And after that, he has to pay Paredes' salary. Don't forget that Paredes is like 30, almost 31. He's very young for his age. He's still playing very well. He's killing it in Roma. He's killing it in the Argentina national team. Big signing for Boca. Big signing for the Argentina League. Is it gonna happen?
I hope so, man. I think one of the things that we kind of talked about at the end of the interview with Damian Silverstein last week was how important it would be, you know, for the fan base, for the team on in the pitch to bring some to kind of like all of us just kind of getting behind like a leader and also just like in this time when we're down and you know for someone like that to just actually like actively choose to like come back to Boca when you know we're not playing Libertadores. You know he's not doing it for the Club World Cup clearly because you know he otherwise he would have already signed. You know we need you know and you know he knows that he would come in and like the pressure is on from day one because we need to qualify for Copa Libertadores. You know we haven't won anything in like 2.5 years, so like it's a tough situation. I would understand most people being like, nah, I'm gonna come back when things are a little calmer, and he's just kind of getting into the mud, and I respect that. I obviously if and when it happens, right? I mean, like a lot of the reports are very positive that Riquelme offered him pretty much a blank check to basically to match his salary in Roma. And obviously he has to like Paredes has to like just go to Rome and basically just pay the buyout clause and kind of get free. They interviewed him today at the airport, and he just kind of non-committal. Like, he was basically like, listen, man, I need a vacation. Like, I've been going on, like you said, 2, 3 years straight. Played Copa America last summer. Just I need to like take my wife and my 3 little kids to like on vacation and just kind of rest. And I'll let you guys know in a couple of weeks. And that's totally fine. I think he's a player worth waiting for. But it sounds from every report that it's kind of trending towards a positive result. And man, we need him, dude. We really need him. We're down on the ground right now, and we need something to basically shock us back into just kind of like, okay, like let's do it, man. And he's a player that, like, I mean, I'll let you speak about him as a player and how he can revolutionize the team, because like the effect can be massive.
Yeah, I'm going to point out that Boca is also making a huge effort to bring somebody like him. If you think about it, let's say that he's making, I don't know, 6 million a year plus 3.5. That's a 10 million out of the gate. He's probably giving them 4 years of contract.
Well, they said 2.5 years until the end of 2028. So that's to start, right? So, and then we'll see after that.
So he's a player, he can bring us a lot. The way I see that, Paredes has a very good football IQ, where he's always in the perfect spot on the pitch. He can grab the ball, he can kick a long ball for 80 meters and put it to your feet. He can short pass it. Let's say yesterday, he played a great game against Colombia. He had 101 passes and he only missed one. Also, he has very good shooting distance that in Boca we usually don't have. No. If you look at his goals in Boca, I remember 2 of them being from outside. He's the kind of kid that he knows like he's going to grab the team. He's going to be the leader, and he's going to be shooting from everywhere. He's going to take the free kicks. He's going to take not the corner kicks, but the long kicks, stuff like that. So if you match, what you said about Pellegrino, and then you have Costa, we have good center backs can go and head the ball. He can bring a lot to the table. Those short passes, kind of clear the people, the through passes, the experience of playing in PSG, in Roma, winning a World Cup, winning 2 Copa Americas. So if he really wants to come in and shock the Argentinian football, I think he's a good player for that. Also, I would like to think that his dream is to win the Copa Libertadores. Because like it or not, I don't know, if I'm in his shoes, I want everything, right? So I want everything with Argentina. He won everything with PSG. He won the Champions League, but the Champions League is very hard to win if you're not in like a huge team. Like you're not, PSG and Roma are not huge teams in Europe. He's only missing the Copa Libertadores because he won tournaments for Boca. So does he has what it takes to be the captain and take the team to a Copa Libertadores final? I think he does. And if you had to spend $10 million on him, on his salary, I think it's a good bet. Nowadays, Argentina is doing better when it comes to the economy. Boca is doing better. So it's the time to spend that money is right now. So hopefully he comes and he says yes. We'll be waiting, but it's looking very positive.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add is that, like, unlike the returns of like, Riquelme in 2007, Palermo when he came back in 2004, I think, 4 or 5, 4 maybe, and then or like Tevez, Paredes, he's from the Boca Academy. He played not that many games. I think like some 30, 40 games. I think I was reading the stats the other day. I think he only started like 14 games and he has 5 goals. So like the difference between those players is that like those guys kind of like they were already like Boca legends, and they came back and then they like doubled their legend, right? But for Paredes, he has that like incentive of like ascending to that status. We love him because he's one of us. He's from the academy. We love him because we saw him do so well with the national team. But he just didn't have the chance. He was playing behind Riquelme. Like back in the day. So when he was younger, he had an injury. Remember, Odion like fractured him in a practice. So this time it'll be his team, and if he's able to win. I mean, if he's able to win Libertadores, I mean, anyone that wins Libertadores is just gonna be like, especially after this long. But it's just gonna mean so much more because like if he comes back during these like harsh times and he leads us to the promised land, I mean, it's just gonna be like it's gonna get him up there in like in the list of like of all timers for Boca. So
Yeah, think
like
about people we are about 30, so we saw Boca win everything. But
yeah,
think about these kids that are probably like 25 and under. So for them, we're like, all right, this guy won the World Cup for me, two Copa Americas, and the Libertadores.
yeah,
He will be the hero of a
of a generation.
generation.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I hope he thinks like that. I hope he listens to us. I hope
yeah,
he learned any English in Europe and can
yeah,
listen to us. But yeah, we're very excited.
yeah, man.
So
I think he can do it. So hopefully, I mean, first let's just let him rest for a couple of weeks, and then like I just can't wait for the announcement. It's gonna be a very good day,
yes,
if and when that happens.
perfect. So next, so I'm gonna tell you or everybody what I saw on. So I got back from Argentina on Monday. So I did Mendoza, Chile, Chile, Miami. But when I landed in Miami, when you do immigrations, I was matching with another plane coming from Argentina. Um, a ton of Boca fans
You
were
weren't sure
arriving
if
in
it was
Miami.
actually Miami or if they rerouted you to
Correct.
Buenos Aires, right?
And the fun fact is like everybody was wearing a Boca jersey. They're like, I don't care if I get in the country or not. Now with the immigration things happening in America, it's kind
Yeah.
of like people are protecting themselves from everything that's happening. But people are like, we're gonna come in with a Boca jersey. So at least 20 to 30 people wearing Boca jersey in the airport, which is something that you don't usually see. You see people walking around Miami with Boca jersey, but not in an airport, right? So that meant a lot. So Boca and Boca fans are officially in Miami. I personally am extremely excited that we have Boca in our backyard.
Of course.
It's everything we ever dream of. Where people that left Argentina a few years ago, having Boca, here in our cities are incredible. So today I went to gym. So Boca's actually practicing 2 or 3 blocks from my house. I didn't know exactly what time, but I guess because it's getting very, very hot in Miami, it's probably like 30 degrees Celsius plus the heat goes to like 37, gets very, very heavy during the day. So my guess was like, hey, you're probably training around like 6 or 7. So I just passed the complex of Bari University. And I saw a lot of Boca fans outside the mini stadium that University has. It is blocked. You cannot get in. You cannot actually see anything because they have covered things around the stadium. If that's not something that Boca did, the Bari University team does that. So for people, many people go and they're like, oh, they don't want us to see them. That's not a Boca thing.
Yeah.
That's a university thing. So you cannot get in. So I didn't get in. I hung a little bit because there was a bunch of Boca fans outside.
Yeah.
The ESPN people were there. The channel of Boca was there. But they're here. We are here. We're finally here. First game, Benfica on Monday. Benfica is a team that finished second in the Portuguese league. It's one of the big 3 of Portugal. The biggest one for me, at least, is Porto. Then you have Benfica, and then you have Sporting.
Yes.
Sporting won the league in Portugal. They were tied in points. 2 games left. They played each other. They tied. So Sporting won with 1 point ahead of Benfica. So they're hurt, right? So what can we expect? So of course, Boca. I'm gonna give you my little analysis. Of course, Boca doesn't come. It's not playing well lately. Haven't won much. Our players owe us a lot. However, every time the Boca plays against a European team, you don't see the difference, right? So I'm going to remind our fans and myself, maybe you can help me, the last few games that we played against European teams. So I remember that we played against Villarreal a la Morera a few years ago. We beat them. I remember that we went to Spain and we played Sevilla for a ham. I remember the winner of the game won a ham. We beat them 4-3. Then remember that we played against Barcelona. We lost 3-0.
Oh yeah, I was thinking more recently. We played Barcelona was it Saudi Arabia? It was 1-1 and we won a PKs, right?
1-1 and we won in PKs.
Yes.
So on paper, people are kind of like, yeah, Boca has no chance, blah, blah. But if you look at the history, we don't have any big losses against European teams.
Yeah.
And like it or not, Benfica is not a team that is like, oh my God, they're always in the Champions League. They're always performing these big stages. So if Boca has a personality, and they will have the fans, because don't forget that Boca was the only team of the whole tournament that sold out their section. That doesn't mean that the stadium is going to be sold out. It means that Boca was given, I think it was like 10 to 15 to 20,000 seats, and Boca fans filled those seats. Then the rest of the stadium, if you go online right now, you can see like on the left side of the stadium, which is the Boca part, is packed, and on the right side is empty. Also, the 300s, which is the top, it's probably not going to be full. But it's going to be a
huge
lot.
Stadium, by the way. It's
a huge stadium.
Yeah. They played Copa America final there, so yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to see a lot of blue and yellow. We're not going to see a lot of red.
Nope.
But we are going to be there. They're going to feel us. We need to throw everything on Monday, because Monday is the game. If we win on Monday, I think that the whole tournament changes for everybody.
That's like 60% of the job. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I don't know how it's going to go. I do think that Boca has huge chances of winning. Again, forget about the players, forget the way Boca is playing. We got a new coach. The new coach has a lot of experience. He's one of the Boca, not legends, but he's one of us. He won a Libertadores. He's there with Lorenzo and with Bianchi. It's only 3 coaches that won a Copa Libertadores. He's one of them. He knows what it is to go to a World Cup. Don't forget that he played against AC Milan, back in 2007. We lost 4-2, but he was there. He has won with Central last year, an Argentinian tournament. So we have the resources to win. I do think we're going to come out on top against Benfica.
I have a lot of faith. Yeah.
I think that this is a game. I know that they're going to see the videos that was happening in Miami, so people should know. So on Sunday, all the Boca Consulados, which is Le Peñas, I don't know how to say in English, but people that listen to us, it's like every city in the world has a consulado, right? All the consulados are actually getting together tomorrow, a big dinner, to actually, plan around to see how they're going to do the World Cup. And on Sunday, the Boca Consulados created what is called a pet rally, a banderazo in Spanish. We're going to get together everybody on Sunday at 4 p.m. in Collins Avenue and the 40th Street. So people know in the 40th Street from 40th to 47th, it's a huge park with free grills. So knowing Boca fans, they're probably going to get there at 10 a.m. They're going to start barbecuing and start drinking, and then we're going to do the banderazo on the beach, right? So we're trying to also respect the U.S. laws and the U.S. policies. So instead of doing it in the park, which could be dangerous because I'm sure they're going to be fireworks and this and that, they're going to do it on the beach. Yeah. That's a pep rally before the game. For the game, I talked to one of the head of the consulados yesterday. For the game, the people are going to go to stadium to the parking lot, and they're going to set up barbecues, right? So they're going to have a lot of meat, going to have Boca clothes, hats, cups.
Yeah, merchandising, everything.
Merchandising, and we're going to do a huge barbecue outside the stadium. So people seen the Copa Americas before when Argentina was playing. That's like the tailgate, the biggest event before games. And people go nuts, people sing. So I think there's going to be a lot of color. I think that people are going to be shocked from what they're going to see from Boca. They're probably not going to see in area stadiums. The Europeans don't do this. River is actually not traveling that much. So they're going to see it with Boca. And it's going to be absolutely beautiful. I think that, my whole family is coming, my brother, my in-laws, with my nephews, with my parents. Everyone's coming. Then I have my high school friends. I have 5 high school friends coming from Argentina.
That's
I think
awesome,
it's going to
man.
be an amazing atmosphere, and I'm very excited for it. So, do we have chances of winning? Inside and outside the pitch, we have huge chances. Hopefully, the fans are there to sing, and I hope the Boca fans can translate our excitement to the players,
Yeah.
and hopefully the Benfica players can be like retract themselves. I feel like, oh, we are actually an away team today.
Yeah.
So that's my take. I think that if I got to bet, we're gonna win 2-1, and Boca's gonna it's gonna come out on top on Monday.
Yeah. Hopes from your lips to God's ears, is the saying. So yeah, no, I agree. It's just gonna be beautiful. It's just gonna be so special. I think it's also gonna be, first of all, it's gonna be a positive atmosphere because like I mean, Boca fans are eternal optimists, but I just think with, like, with the with Miguel Angel Russo, that most people, even if it wasn't your choice, like, he wasn't mine, but we all love him. We all want him to. We all wish him well. With the rumors of Paredes, just it seems like there's some kind of like winds of change, and so it's gonna be a very optimistic crowd. And I also think that, like, anytime you get like an international crowd, people actually like traveling, even though obviously there's a ton of Argentinians in Miami that are gonna show up, and they're gonna be so excited because it's like they don't get to see Boca that often. But, like, the people that travel, and I know because you've traveled a lot. I went to Maracanã in the 2023 Libertadores final. Like, those people are like, I'm not gonna say that they're more fans than anyone, because it's not like that, but it's just like those people show up and they mean business. Like, they just go, and it's gonna be such an energetic crowd. So I think the players have no choice but to just kind of like absorb that and kind of go forward. So I think it's gonna be beautiful.
Brother, one of my friends from high school never been to the US. He got the
Wow.
visa. Like, he said, dude, I guess I'm just gonna see Boca. So he got the visa.
Yeah.
He's like, I've never been to Miami, so he's gonna come to Miami, then he's gonna to New York. He's like, he's using this as an excuse to be
Of
like, all
course.
right, this is my chance to go to the US. So, and I know a lot of Boca fans, and I feel like everybody's coming. I traveled with one dude in 2023 when we went to Colombia, went to
Yeah.
Brazil twice. We went to where else? I went to Chile. He's coming too. He's arriving on Sunday. So, with all his friends from the Vicente López Peña from Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting, man. And I feel like a lot of people are going to come. Uh, Again, don't forget that right nowadays the peso is very strong. So people, instead of taking vacation and maybe going to Brazil or maybe going to Uruguay,
Yeah. Or
like they usually
Mexico.
do,
Yeah.
or Mexico, they're like, let's go to Miami. And again, Miami is a very attractive uh, place for Argentinians. So I'm very, very, very excited, man. I think it's going to be one of the things that if the players can translate that to the pitch, and if we end up winning on Monday, if we win on Monday, it's going to be chaotic in a good way. People are going to go to the game against Bayern Munich, because against Bayern Munich, we all know that it's going to be
Tough. It's the
very
toughest
tough.
game of the group. Yeah.
Not impossible, but it's going to be very tough. If you win against Benfica, the game against Bayern Munich is going to be probably one of the best things our people are going to see in the US.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I mean, obviously, your confidence is just going to be an all-time high.
So,
and also, like, sorry, it's not like we need any extra motivation, but just like we hate them so much because of the 2001, Copa Intercontinental, that, like, I mean, we don't need a reason to just hate people and go extra to support our team, but like that's definitely a reason. And if we beat Benfica, or like, fuckers, we're gonna beat you too, and we're gonna try to avenge that thing. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
So we're probably gonna have a podcast, right, between Benfica and Munich. So I don't want to give my predictions against Munich or anything like that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
But I'm very excited, man. I'm very excited. Again, Sunday here is Father's Day, so getting together with my dad. My brother's coming with his kid. So we're getting together at my house. I'm cooking a little asadito and then going to the beach. It's a whole new experience. Most people criticize this tournament. I've been to World Cups before, and World Cups in the group stage, World Cups are the best. Then it just goes down. I I can only imagine what's going to happen with Boca fans, right? I'm very excited. I mean, the things I'm seeing in the groups, I send you guys a few pictures. People are arriving and people are like packaging, unpacking. There's a dude in the group chat that left 2 days ago from LA and he's driving all the way to Miami. So
Wow.
imagine that, dude. He's sending us pictures from every state.
Yeah.
So, how many of those that we don't even know are probably coming from New York, from Alabama, from Iowa,
Maybe people watching Boca for the first time. I mean, that's
correct.
How fucking special is that? I mean, I just remember the first time I watched Boca and I just got like goosebumps. I mean, like there's gonna be people that get to watch Boca for the first time. That's so, like kids of like Argentinian like immigrants, that like that never went back, or like maybe they don't even speak Spanish, dude. It doesn't matter. Like they just like it's like you're a Boca fan, through and through, and
Talking
just
about that,
get to do it.
That's a good example. I have one of the guys that plays with me in my Saturday league. He was born here, right? He has Argentinian parents. He never been to Argentina.
Yeah.
If you talk to him, you could never tell that he never been to Argentina.
Yeah.
He's sick when it comes to Boca. He has Boca tattoos everywhere. He never been to Argentina.
Wow.
And he's like, dude, this is the first time I see Boca. So for him, it's everything too. I forgot about that. Those, that sector of the Boca fans are going to be here in Miami. I'm very excited, and I'm sure I have some friends that are not Boca fans. They're from like Talleres or Belgrano, that they're going to go to the game as well.
Oh, of course. I mean, if you get the chance, especially because they're really. I mean, like Boca Benfica and Boca Bayern, they're probably 2 out of the maybe like top 5 games of the group stage overall. Maybe like Atletico and PSG is one. Like just on its merits, on the football merits, they're going to be awesome games. So like, yeah, of course, there's going to be fans from all over.
I'm very excited, and I feel like FIFA is going to give us a lot. They're going to use us a lot, to post videos and be like, this is the color of the World Cup, because they expect us. I think that FIFA expects Boca fans to actually bring the color to this tournament.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited, man. I don't know if we have anything else. I am very excited. Hopefully everything goes well on Sunday first, and the banderazo, no injuries, people not getting in trouble with the police.
No,
like that.
With the authorities, no issues. Obviously, with the background that kind of needs to be mentioned is like the Copa America final last year was chaotic, outside and before the game. So like, hopefully that's not, I read that there's going to be increased security, which is, hopefully for the best. People show up early, they tailgate, they have fun, and when it's time, you just walk in, and we get to enjoy the game, so like obviously people, just if you have tickets, just go early, enjoy the the game and the post. It's just kind of the whole experience. The whole day is going to be magical.
Yeah, what I can do, I can send you the flyer for Sunday, and then you can post that on. Yeah, you can post that on the Twitter account, and then I can tell you at what time the consulates or the consulados are thinking about going on Monday to the stadium.
Yeah,
my guess is like the game is at 6. I'm probably gonna go at 2. I don't know how probably they open the parking 4 hours before games. So I'm guessing people are gonna get there at 1, 2, 3 p.m. Which gives you a solid 3 hours. Yeah, it's gonna be very hot.
Yeah,
very hot. I forgot about that. Damn. Yeah, it's gonna be very hot.
Yeah, middle of the day, man.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. People are gonna be like dead because the Miami heat is not the same as everywhere else.
It's not a joke.
So a lot of water, a lot of Fernet, but more water than Fernet if possible.
Yeah, just kind of like 2-to-1 ratio, 3-to-1 maybe. Yeah, just.
But I'm very excited, man. So Rodri, again, thanks for this episode. I got nothing else for you. I don't know if you want to chat or say anything else.
No, I was gonna try to like just kind of glean some glimpses from the teams that Russo has been kind of like using in training, but he's been just kind of doing a lot of mixing players, and so I think the one thing you can kind of guess is that Zenon is probably gonna be a winger. He's not going to be in the midfield. He's going to play up top. Most likely, Merentiel is going to start, at the number 9 position. But there's a lot of just things up in the air. Like Advíncula played for Peru in the qualifiers, and he played really well against Colombia. That was encouraging, and to the fact that Miguel Russo actually said it when he gave an interview today, and they asked him about someone else, and he like actually brought up Advíncula and said that he played really well against Colombia. So yeah.
Another thing that I kind of came to my mind, I always remember that there's some players that go to a World Cup, right? That they outperform. We don't know anybody. No one knows their name. They outperform, then they get sold to Real Madrid,
Yeah.
right? So, for example, the biggest example was Navas, right? The Costa Rican goalkeeper. He had an amazing World Cup, and then he went to Real Madrid. He won like 4 Champions League. I hope the Boca players look at this as their opportunity to shine, right? I mean, like, hey, if I perform very well against Benfica and I do solid against Bayern Munich, chances are that they're going to come, give me a solid contract, and I'm going to go to Europe, right? This is
guys
their
like
tournament.
Zenon, guys like Ceballos. I mean, it's their chance, man. Like even someone like Ayrton Costa, if he gets to play, or and then some others. Like I you think about someone like like Lautaro Blanco, where like with the Argentina national team, like we really need a backup, left back. If he plays well in that kind of world stage, he might even earn a call up. It's like it's I don't know. I feel like there's so many things that can go right with this, and it's just there to take it, man. Like just so I hope that we can capitalize, and then just advancing out of the group is kind of like I think the objective. I think it's a reasonable. It's not easy, but it's a reasonable objective. I think we should be shooting for that. And then after that, it's like it's wide open, right? I mean, you're playing with with house money, and it's like fuck it, let's see how far we can go. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
All right, Rodri. With that being said, thanks again for everything. To everybody else, I hope you're enjoying our podcast. And until next time.
Bye, guys.